Welcome back to the ESL Pro League. T-Squared and Ryu hanging out at the Xfinity desk. Want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Mountain Dew, for making this season so awesome. We appreciate your continued support. Also, if you guys were not aware, ESL 1 is right around the corner. It's going down October 1st and 2nd at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. 8 teams competing for $250,000 in prize money. But the action doesn't stop there. The Street Fighter 5 Brooklyn Beatdown is an open tournament with $75,000 in prize money. Ryu, you playing Street Fighter 5 there or what?
Not well enough to have a shot in hell at 75 grand.
All right, well, for more information on that, you guys can go to ESL-1.com, but we're talking about the first match, and it's C9 going up against NRG. Number 1 versus number 3 should be good.
Yeah, it should be really good. Cloud9 obviously pulled way ahead super early in the season, had a really good undefeated run. One blemish to their record so far. Pretty confident that I think even if they were to lose out, I think they're still easily in the top 6. One of the best teams in the world right now. I think some people have them as high as 4th in the world, which is a pretty big accomplishment. They've played well at some of the offline events, and the switch to automatic from Slemmy just seemed to be the spark that maybe they needed to take that next step.
Yeah, and speaking of automatic, we have the rosters right here. Nothing Shroud, Stewie 2K, Skadoodle, and automatic. No surprises to their squad here. And the big thing about these guys, the reason why they are 17-1 is every single person on this lineup steps up when they need it.
Yeah, they have just so much firepower all the way through from top to bottom. We've seen huge performances from one player, and if Skadoodle's having an off game, Stewie's just having an on game. They play good Counter-Strike, and Stewie's probably the best player in the region right now, second to OD, I think. I know, I just got to make sure I say that because I don't want Daze to get mad. And yeah, and then on the NRG side, no surprises on the roster here. Gabi, Peter, Legia, Tapson, and Fugly. Tapson's had one of the best statistical seasons so far in terms of individual performance. Peter's been playing very, very well. They seem to have a good system in the way that they're using Peter. Seems to be very effective. He's having a lot of opportunities for first kills where he's taking contact on the op. And then a lot of his aggressive plays have been tempered with some good support work from guys like Gabi and Legia. It's a good overall, fundamentally sound Counter-Strike, and they're in a great position right now, sitting in 3rd place for the league.
Yeah, in 3rd place, and you think the magic number is 16. So again, they're just looking to either split games. A 2-0 here would be huge, but you know, if they go on some sort of, phenomenal losing streak, that's pretty much the only way they're not going to make it in. But that doesn't mean that the other teams that, are looking around that 6th, 7th, 8th spot, someone like Renegades, Optic, they're not, rooting against these guys and hoping that NRG actually drops the ball here.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, if you are that 8th place team, you know Cloud9's already in, so you probably do want an 0-2 for NRG. You want C9 to have a convincing 2-0. You want it to get in the head of NRG. You want NRG to lose every single map for the rest of the season because it just gives your team that much better of a chance to get bumped up from 7th into 6th. I just think right now it's very favorable timing for NRG. Cloud9's got a big important qualifier coming up. They're so far ahead in the season that they might not showcase some new things. They might not make crazy adjustments. They might not want to tip their hand for the other things just this late into the season with almost a guaranteed spot at the offline final. The format at that final is different where the seeding isn't as hugely important because you're in a group of 6 teams and you play every single team in that group in a best of 1. So it's a very favorable position to be in right now if you're NRG. And NRG honestly is playing really well. I don't know if there's too many people that thought they'd have an 11-5 kind of start to the season. And they've got 2 players that are doing a lot of work. They play good tactical Counter-Strike, but going up against Cloud9, they're at such a deficit in firepower that's even if Cloud9 doesn't just kind of show the world all kinds of new things in these 2 maps that are pretty well played out. They're very, very established in terms of the meta for the game right now. They just have so much firepower that they're leagues above the individual skill level. With the exception, I would say, of maybe Tapson and Peter, just the way they're playing.
That's what I want
to
get your thoughts on Peter and Tapson. How do you think that these guys stack up against individually the players on C9 like Skadoodle and Stewie? Do you think that, obviously that duo of Skadoodle and Stewie is a little bit stronger than Peter and Tapson?
Yes, yeah, I do. I think there's a quite a big gap there. I think Skadoodle's he's always in the conversation for one of the best ops in the region. When he's on, he's probably the best. I know a lot of people say JDM and then a few other names there. Peter has those maps where he is like, you're like, yeah, he's the best op right now in this map, in the region right now, because he just goes off and he can literally carry them to a win. Stewie, I just think is leagues above everybody else right now. Even though Tapson's playing well, I think Tapson's probably the closest like 1-to-1 in terms of the firepower on one side to the other. But then if you look at like Gabi and Legia, and then you look, like at Shroud and Automatic, I think they're just outmatched there.
What are they going to have to do strategically on the side of NRG Esports? Because they can't just go banking on the fact that C9's focused on making ESL 1 and maybe just like letting their foot off the gas.
Well, the way that C9's been playing, Stewie's almost always like super aggressive early in the round, especially on T side. He'll go look for an early fight and an early pick. And I'm sure Gabi and the guys from NRG know this. So if they can punish it, not only are you eliminating a player and taking a 5v4 for the rest of the round, but the player that you're eliminating is probably the best player in the region. So it's just one of those things that there will be an opportunity to punish, and I'm really curious to see what Gabi comes up with to punish exactly that.
So you're thinking it's going to be 2-0 for C9, but you wouldn't be surprised if it was 1-1 here?
I think I'm actually going to predict 1-1. I know that's a little bit out there. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a 2-0 for C9, though.
Well, looking forward to seeing how that one's going to go. But I'm going to throw this one on over to the casters. We got Moses over there. We also have Days. I know the chat, they're going crazy for Days. They want more Days.
She's got.
So let's squash the beef, guys. Let's just squash the beef, please.
Let's
no
just
more beef.
I was wondering where you were going to go with that one. Yeah, we're gonna be getting into this one. I know we talked a little bit about what were we talking about earlier? Cloud9 mostly. I mean, just the impact of all these players. One thing I wanted to get your idea on is, did you think Automatic was going to have the impact he's had on this team when he joined the roster? Because that seemed like such a lackluster move when it happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it's a good fit because Tim's always Automatic. He's always been on a team where there's actually a lot of focal point is on him and a lot of pressure is on him. But when you're on Cloud9, he doesn't have to worry about trying to get entries on T side. He knows he's going to have consistent players to get entries, and he's usually lurking for them on T side. So it opens up a lot of things for him. On CT side, he's just worrying about like playing his spot. Like if you watch on Mirage, he's always deep in catwalk, in ladder room, throwing a smoke deeper, a little bit towards him on catwalk, looking underpass and connector. Doesn't have to worry about B so much because Shroud's there just locking it down. So it's opened up a lot of things for him. Statistically, he's playing really, really well.
Yeah, I think that's the crazy thing. Individually, he's been a massive
I'm
impact.
actually really impressed by him.
Yeah.
And I don't think, like I said this before, I never thought Tim was like a star player or anything, right? But being in this system and having like just not that much pressure is really bringing out the best in him.
Yeah.
And he's playing like a star at times.
Yeah, I mean we've seen him actually carry this team, like be that top frag, which is nuts to think about. And then I mean we go over to the NRG side. We know kind of their game plan. We know it's going to be based around Peter. We know it's going to be Tapson's going to have a big game. They're fourth in the standings right now. Is that a pretty accurate representation of where they're at?
I think so. I think so. I think they're below Optic.
Yeah,
and
Optic's third.
Immortals.
Yep.
And then I think SK will probably come up. So I think. So what did that? That would actually be fifth, right?
Fifth, yeah.
Yeah. So I think 4th, 5th around there. They could definitely end up 4th though because SK has lost some games that we probably didn't think they would.
Well, they've got a couple.
SK still has
today.
SK still has a tough schedule though.
Yeah, they have Cloud9 they have to play again, and then I think Optic is the other top team that they have to.
I never realized that Gabi's name is Faith. How perfect is that for a strat caller, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good, man. Like, this guy was born to play Counter-Strike.
He was born to be a strat caller.
To be in a leadership role.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. How much? I mean, he seems like he's like kind of very similar to how you like to call when you were still playing. Was is like the default heavy emphasis and everything like that. I mean, you had Skadoodle, so you give him the time to get that kind of a pick.
Yeah. Well, they do a lot of really nice executes, actually.
Yeah.
Dude, Gabi, like, we're going to see him play on Cash. I hope he throws the smoke. I was, like, stunned when I saw this. I'm playing with him. He's like, I'm smoking off highway. He throws it from T-spawn. So you could just, like, try to keep that highway guy there at middle and, like, throw flashes, try to keep him there, and just run outdoor. Highway's already smoked. Like, the top of highway.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah,
like I'm like, what? They know the craziest things, dude. So I actually really like watching NRG. I don't think they're the greatest team in the world or anything like that, but they do a lot of innovative things. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, this is I know just from watching NRG, Cash is like one of their favorites, one of their like very comfortable maps because this is where Peter's going to spend a lot of time on top of that boost box. They're going to go for that mid control. They're going to do everything. Like the very like tactically just fundamentally strong, and nothing's gonna blow you away except for maybe a couple smokes here and there. But like it's just gonna be that kind of grind out style. It feels like.
Yeah, is there any other team that you would like to hear like remember how in the old tournaments they would have your mumble up?
Yep.
This would be gold, man. If we could just hear Pete right now, just pumping everybody.
The eternal
up.
underdog.
Yes. We're talking about it earlier. Everything he does is an underdog story.
Everything is an underdog story.
So he's just I guarantee he's a mumble right now. Like we could do this. They don't want us to win.
Nobody thinks we can
We've
do
been
it.
here before. We need to believe in
Just
ourselves,
every
believe in each
cliche
other.
just
Yes,
coming out.
absolutely.
So perfect.
I wonder how many times he's seen like Friday Night Lights or something like that.
Yeah, that's probably his jam. You know, he like watches
Yeah.
that as he's going to sleep and everything, just getting ideas.
Yeah.
What now we got
It's tough to ask questions after you go from that and then
to
you have
go from Pete's motivational
Yeah.
speeches. Where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, because we're still waiting. I don't know who's missing from the server. We're still waiting on someone to ready up.
Oh,
So
who would you think? If you just had to take a guess.
If I had to guess.
I know you don't have
I
Counter-Strike
don't
on
have
your
Counter-Strike
computer.
open. It's
Don't
seems
look
not
at
working.
mine. If you had to take a guess.
I would say it's Jordan. It's nothing.
I think it's Jordan.
Oh, it figures.
I think
Everyone
so.
tweet at nothing. Tell me to get in the server.
I just saw it just open up Counter-Strike, so should be going here soon.
Yeah, well, let's touch on the next one because you know, SK they dropped the ball a little bit against Immortals, which was surprising. Now they got Splice today, so couple easy games. Yeah, you think there's any danger there?
I mean, I know you're casting Splice. I think it would probably be fun casting Splice because I'm telling you, man, when Davey is in the server, anything can happen. Anything.
He is. He's a pretty crazy guy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like with Splice, it's just like any idea you have is a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever had like a conversation with Dave? He's like one of the most like intense individuals when he's talking about
Dude,
Counter-Strike.
he told me the funniest story. I don't know. I gotta say it.
Okay.
So
I like it.
apparently they were at a LAN, and Davey is a badass dude. Okay, some guy tried to mug them, and the guy said that he said he had a knife, but he wasn't showing it, and he tried to mug like their whole team, like all 5 of them, and Davey was just like, no, you're not gonna, we're not gonna give you anything and all this stuff. And then the guy said he had AIDS.
Brilliant.
And Davey was like, I don't care, I'll beat him up. And like the guy just like went away. And everybody's just super, he's like a...
I would not see that. I could not see that out of Davey. He's always that like Canadian. He just looks like a hamster. I think to me, like when I like visually.
He's a really nice guy.
He is a
I
very
just,
nice guy.
It's such a ridiculous story, but everybody was like, dude, Davey was so unafraid. He was just standing there just like...
That's epic.
Didn't care at all.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, respect to Davey. I mean, that's where he gets the balls with the MAC-10.
Dude, I'm telling you, anything can happen when Davey's in the server. Anything.
So, okay, so that story gives me some excitement for that next matchup. And then the last one of the day is, I swear to God, if I hear Battle of the Foxes one more time, I'm going to lose it. But Echo Fox and Winter Fox, how do you think the Oceanic guys are doing coming over for the first time?
Well, I actually haven't really watched them play much. I played a couple games of Rank S with some of their teammates, so I'm going to be casting that. I have no idea what to look
Let's take
for.
another direction. What are the kind of expectations you have for like a team that like players who just come over to a new region where the level of competition is going to be so high? Like, where's the bar set for success in terms of their first experience at this level?
I think they're doing good. I think it's going to be a learning experience, and the next season of Pro League is really going to determine, how far they've come as players and what type of step they're able to take.
Well, Jordan got in the server. He finished whatever it was he was doing, and you can see there 1-0 for Cloud9 on the season. I think that's an 0-1 for NRG, which is interesting. I'd love to know who they've lost to on this map because they do like this very much. But into the pistol round we go, and actually this is very mid-centric for both teams.
And they're coming out boost. Jordan's probably going to try to distract here, but Pete is hiding sandbags. He should get 2 freebies.
Yeah, and he's going to. This crossfire, he's already got 1, and now he's just biding his time. And you can see Automatic is entirely just distracted this whole time, so sick play from Peter. Finally, the nade cleans him out, but it's done damage. I mean, the A bomb site is open. NRG is just fully confident in playing this retake. They do have a kit, but that's all. They have no nades. And it's going to be all on nothing. He's going to come back in towards A main. So Tapson is on his way, very, very far off. It's a 4-on-3 and a pretty decent setup from Cloud9 with 2 in the site. That crossfire can work out, and there's a nice flash. Skadoodle gets an opening kill onto Gabi, down into a 3-on-3. The third player from NRG is just now getting here, so this has been delayed. This has been stalled out for a very long time, but Skadoodle runs out of bullets, and he's got nowhere to go, but Shroud is a monster in the back of Quad, and he cannot be taken down. And he might have just single-handedly won Cloud9 this pistol round.
Yeah, tough retake there whenever you're going to A site, because anytime they throw a flashbang and you're stuck on that wall, it's like a free kill. They peek out, even it up 3v3, immediate advantage to the T's there. But when Pete's at that sandbags, if you watch Legia, he actually throws a flash right in front of it.
Yep.
So Pete's peeking with the flashbang that's being thrown, and it's like a perfect setup. So I really like that a lot. Pete probably should have got that second kill cleaner. Had he done that, it would have been a 5v3. He wouldn't have been able to been taken out by that nade. But now we're seeing full mollies. Probably going to be a molly type thing towards A, really common on cash, maybe even towards B. Just utilize them all. There's not enough spots to play as the CTs, really.
I would like to know what the call was from NRG, because they actually, Fugly was playing at the truck, and they were so heavy towards mid. They had 3 players there. I don't know why he would have left that truck and taken his eyes away off the A bomb site. That feels like that might have been a little bit of a mistake, to me at least. But just an interesting situation where that A bomb site was lost so easily. But yeah, this is now, I mean, I like this out of Cloud9 with all this utility, all these Molotovs. I mean, they know if there's, the Deagles are dangerous, these buy-ups are obviously dangerous, so they're just treating it like another gun round, essentially.
And that utility really negates the effectiveness of that Deagle, right? If you're not giving them clean picks, it's really tough to, especially because most of them don't even have armor here, and they do have 4 Deagles. Look at God B. I think he probably just saved completely so that he could buy an off for Pete. Opportunity for Pete missed. Now it looks like the mollies are going to come, and Stewie going to scout.
Yeah, and with all these SMGs as well, I mean, they can be so aggressive towards these Deagles, so it's not like there's any time to get comfortable with that Deagle when the SMGs are just jumping right at you. And Stewie's doing great damage, but nothing finishes off that kill. And I mean, the B bomb site is lost, so it should be pretty easy here from Cloud9. They still have plenty of smokes and Molotovs to just ensure that this retake isn't even possible. And you can see NRG's already backing up, so they want to bring these Deagles into the next round, see if they can do a little bit more damage then, because their plan this time didn't work out.
Yeah, definitely not. Late CT spawn, tabs in Fugly, just trying to get a couple kills here if they can.
We talked before we went live. We talked about how I know, because Ryu made a big deal about how since Cloud9 is so far up at 17-1, they might not care. It might be perfect for NRG.
Looked like they cared there.
Yeah, well, I mean, you were even saying it might even be worse for NRG, because if they don't care, I mean, Stewie's going to have entire freedom to do whatever he wants, and if he's going to get into that mode. So yeah, maybe just being that far up, Cloud9's just going to play super loose, and it might just not even be able to contain it.
I think Cloud9 is I think when you play like that, if they play like that, it doesn't look like they are for those first two rounds. They definitely had a set strat that first round, I believe. And that second round, you know, pretty standard molly B take there on an anti-eco. Everything was mollied. I feel like Heaven was mollied, all of site was mollied. It was great.
I feel like the molly B takes don't happen nearly enough for how effective they are.
Oh,
I mean, when
it's
you think
one of the most difficult things to stop if you're CT. If you don't, especially if you're playing site and you don't save a smoke, you're screwed.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, all those Molotovs, it essentially eliminates everywhere you can play in that site except for that one spot on the left, right behind those first boxes. So difficult to make the proper choice trying to defend one of those.
Yeah, and as we were saying earlier, though, if Cloud9 just gets off to a good start, very momentum-based team, it could be very difficult to play against. Stewie scouting B.
There's that Molotov.
Fugly, 70 damage.
As if they knew what we were talking about, because it just forces Fugly out into the open, and he's gone all of a sudden. So this is all a ruse, though. It is going to be a hit over towards the A site. There's Peter still in here, but Shroud's going to clear that out. That was a pretty precise shot from Shroud, even though he's just against pistol. But a quick 3-0, and actually, I mean, no real damage taken by Cloud9, so not too bad.
Yeah, I think they only have 4 deaths so far, so good job by them. Probably going to keep these SMGs, it looks like. I feel like they're that type of team, you know.
They are that type of team now, yeah. Well, and,
Stewie's ruthless, man. He has that, like, that killer instinct, you know?
Yeah.
He really does.
So he's going to do the MAC-10. They actually upgraded some of the UMPs into AK-47, so not as many SMGs as I expected, but interesting that Stewie goes for the MAC-10 over, like, the UMP that has a little bit more of the armor pen. That's got to be, like, run through the smoke crazy style.
Yeah, probably just, you know, just distract everyone, even if he dies, doesn't matter. But they're going to go through this B smoke, maybe do mollies. Pretty, we saw this a lot from Renegades, actually. And Echo Fox both, last time we played Cash. This is what you love about Cash, right? There's so many possibilities.
Yeah, it's a very strategic map, and that's nice from Peter. Right through the smoke, finds automatic, so that's going to slow things down. God B playing over his own smoke. There's the MAC-10, though. And Skadoodle with the response as well, brings it into a 3-3. Looks so good initially for NRG, but it's going to be a little bit of a tougher spot. And because this happened so early on in the round, it's not like Cloud9 used a lot of their utility elsewhere. They still have so many smokes for these choke points to delay this retake, and there's no kits on the NRG side. So if they're going to go for this, it has to be very, very soon, and they might just choose to save this one out. They're all sticking around for now.
Maybe they're looking for opportunistic kills, and if they can get them, they'll go for it. If not, they'll save. But if they do win this round and they only have one alive, that's one of the things that could lead to a really bad half if they lose the following round.
Yeah, that kill, actually too quickly for NRG, but it's still got to do more. I'm not even sure if they can win this even without a kit. And actually, they lined up for Skadoodle. He's going to peek again. He gets the planter. That's the round one, and he just bails out. Nice play from Skadoodle. And Fugly, that's unfortunate. He's just going to be abandoned with the bomb.
Yeah, Pete actually moved from headshot there. I'm wondering if he had the kit there, but had he stayed headshot, he probably would have gotten that kill on Ska. I wonder where Legia was to get that second death on the CT side. It looks like he came from heaven and just ran out, died immediately to Ska's up.
Yeah, that's less than ideal. I mean, that looks really good for NRG, at least at the start, and then it just quickly turned around for Cloud9. So, I mean, that lucky shot from Peter through the smoke is pretty nice. But back onto the pistols. And fast, aggressive mid-take. We see a lot of teams nowadays starting to, I mean, we've seen a couple rounds, pistol round from NRG, and that first gun round, we saw actually pretty mid-heavy defense from NRG. I've noticed a lot of teams are starting to just like give it up and just like say you can have mid, we'll just defend the sites. I mean, is that just like a difficulty right now in the meta to be able to defend mid, how teams are starting to take it?
Well, I always think when you play Cash and your CT, the worst thing you could do is just give up your setup right away. If you always make them think they don't know whether you're playing mid or not, and you don't have a tell, right? Like even if you're not playing mid, you fake like it's an aggressive mid. Maybe you throw the Molotov, you spam the smoke with 2 people. Maybe even somebody runs close and then ends up falling back, and that makes them just have another checkpoint that they have to go through on their T side. I think a lot of teams that don't do that, it becomes very obvious, especially to a player like Stewie or a good caller, right? If they're playing mid or not, and then you could completely orchestrate your offense based off of that.
Right.
And if you make them go through that checkpoint, that's time off the clock, that's resources used, that's, you know, they have to worry about their flank more. If they're not going to go towards middle, it opens up a lot of opportunities for you and makes it much more difficult for them.
Well, no difficulty for Stewie in this round. He basically just rushes mid and gets 3 kills. So, I mean, the bummer is he loses his AK. Fugly's going to have that. They're going to buy next round no matter what, so it's not a huge loss. But still.
Yeah, but you take that. I mean,
yeah.
Anti-Eco is very dangerous in CSGO. So, especially around that door area, usually on Cash, when you see an Anti-Eco go wrong, a lot of the time, I would say probably the majority of the time, it's that door area that that really gets you. Just, you go inside the blue. First off, if you're holding passive, sometimes they run across your screen really fast.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, there's no other way to say it. I
just
feel
like teleports over it?
Yeah, I feel like that was the bear.
Sometimes they just peek very quickly.
Yeah, sometimes they peek and they kill you. But over at that door, it's really dangerous because if you're close, it's a one-shot headshot. When you're getting close, sometimes they flash or open the door right away, and then they can get you there.
Yeah, so many different ways they can actually be aggressive there.
Yeah, it's tough. But now we get into this next gun round, and it looks like they have a 1-2-2 setup.
It looks like, honestly, Cloud9 knows what's coming out from NRG, knows that it's going to be very much towards mid and even towards B, because, I mean, they're not even messing with the default. They're just all grouping up towards each site, and right now they're going to have their entries, but they don't clear the right corner. Fugly gets 2 opportunistic kills, and Tapson now out in the open. He gets found by Skadoodle, a little bit of an overcommit, and Stewie's going to be watching the flank. There's a nice op from Peter. Skadoodle had to peek that, although maybe he could have waited for the smoke. Either way, 2-on-3 situation. They do have the site. The bomb is being planted inside the smoke.
They have a door flank, though. Not sure if Stewie's aware of it, but this is going to make it really tough when Legia opens this door and looks towards the forklift.
Yeah, this is going to come down a lot to timing, and Stewie, I mean, this timing would be really a bummer for Legia, although that kill is going to help. Stewie wins that battle. 1-on-2, both coming up highway. He's got a chance here, but he's got to hit a couple nice shots, and using the forklift to isolate 1-on-1s. Peter's gotten up, so the low HP doesn't matter, and Stewie is incredible. That is a beautiful win from Stewie, and maybe just not trading well enough from the NRG side of things.
Yeah, rushing it a little bit there. Gobby actually had a Molotov. Could have won the round if he just got that off. Instead, they opted just straight peek, and Stewie able to hit 2 really, really nice shots. That's a pretty T-sided angle generally when you're at that forklift.
It's probably the most critical spot for Terrace to hold when the retake comes in. It's like the important spot. That's like to me, that's what all the focus for the CTs has to be on, clearing that forklift out if they want to have a successful retake.
Yeah, usually when you try to orchestrate a retake, a lot of the time it's really good to just have somebody just sit white truck almost the whole time watching it. But another mid take towards Cloud9 on this anti-eco. NRG sitting around that highway. Nice 1D by Fugly. That box it's dangerous to be around when you're a CT because one flash could push you off and really get you, but sometimes you could just make it work.
Well, it's a long way to go as well if you have to fall back, right? It's a lot of real estate to cover. Well, now we're in a situation where, so Cloud9, I mean, there's, you know, in every half of Counter-Strike, there's always those really important, like, impact rounds where, you know, we have the pistol that usually includes the next 2 rounds, and then they win the 4th round, and now they win the 6th round. So Cloud9's just won all of these, and this is an incredibly hot start. And if you're NRG, you're probably starting to really feel the pressure, thinking this next buy out of them, that's what they need to win if they want to have any chance of making this a competitive half.
Yeah, I mean, the way Cloud9's working right now, though, they're constant 4-1ing or 5-manning things. So if NRG can figure that out and try to stop it, you know, they could read that, right?
Yeah, shotgun close up. Gabi's got 1, and he almost actually baits out to get 2. There's Peter. So they've done good damage here. At least they're going to force some rebuys.
Definitely.
It's going to be, I mean, it's obviously Terra side a little bit easier to maintain the economy and to survive these kind of losses, but still not bad. Tapson's going to try and sneak through and catch someone off guard, but he's going to be the one found out by Shroud.
Yeah, I think he knew that Shroud was the door player, so he thought he might have had an opportunity to one-on-one Skadoodle there. But Shroud came quicker than probably expected. Shoots him in the legs.
Well, he probably got on his horse a little bit when he sees his 2 teammates die. When Gabi and Peter get those 2 kills, he's like, all right, now I gotta hustle.
Yeah. So Cloud9, we'll see if they keep that same, you know, brute force type strategy.
What's the adjustment to stop that?
Well, I think again, masking your setup is really good, but a lot of it 2-1-2 is better. If they're going to 4-man like this, like they have been doing, it's much better. But there's going to be queues. Every single time, I guarantee you there is queues. Like, you'll hear them in A main early. You'll hear them at B early. Right now, if you don't hear anything at A, and you see they are adjusting. They have 2 towards B. They already have 1 sandbags, 1 highway. This is going to be a very quick rotate if they come. So
well, there's Gabi. He actually, we talked about, he uses his smoke on the front. He actually burns down to 50. This is an interesting angle from him, though. This will be very curious to see how effective this can be. Cloud9, unfortunately, they aren't entering around the bomb site in the way he's looking, so Peter and Tapson are the 2 who get the kills, and now there's Gabi jumping up. There's a lot of damage, but this attack has been stalled out. There's no entrance here. And like you said, the rotations are so quick. Although automatic, if you realize there's 1 more on the site, he doesn't. Gabi finally pounces. And that's going to be the first run on the board for NRG.
They won that clean, and that is so important on that CT side to get that first round clean, so that if you lose this round, you could still buy. But when it comes to countering that, first off, extremely quick rotates, extremely quick. That's one way to beat it, right? Not really worrying about getting lurked on as much, but getting there very, very quickly.
And that has to do with mid control on this map.
Yes. Second off, really good counter nades to delay them, allowing another player at the other side of the map to contain for those over-rotates to be successful. Third is you could actually get, you know, if you're Pete or Legia with the op, you can get aggressive on certain sides of the map if you feel like you have a good read and then over-rotate that way. But if they're not going to put, you know, so much map presence on every side, that's what's going to work against it. You see Cloud9 says, hey, it didn't work, they played it right, so now we're going to go more into a default setup.
Tapson might have just gotten away with one there. Shroud, a rare miss so far in this half. His team, Stewie's also fallen in mid. That was to the op of Legia, of all people. So now it's on Skadoodle with his own AWP to try and pick in towards this A bomb site. He's got Fugly and Quad. He's got Legia with the AWP walking up along the wall, and he's even got Tapson here as well. So there's a lot of NRG players are focusing on A main at the moment.
Yeah, an odd way of peeking door, actually. Generally, you don't just peek door and just sit in front of it, right? Usually you open the door and you jump out and back and forth and stuff.
Try and spot who before you take the peek.
Yeah. But Shroud just opens it. Tim gets boosted up in middle. It's very common. If you go down 4v5 on cash, a lot of people like to get somebody on the boost. Gets all the way up towards highway, and he's actually in a good position to impact this round. Yeah,
well, it'll be interesting to see who they use as like the starting point of this attack, and I think the fact that Automatic hasn't been spotted, he's the one saying, hey guys, let me make the play. He's so very close up, so if he's the one to initiate, there's still not, NRG still really isn't spotting this, and it looks like Automatic is going to be the one moving forward. Unfortunately, they move a little bit early, but oh, he gets blinded, that flashbang, the wrong moment, but Skadoodle's still there with the op. They've got Fugly in the site, but they don't know it, and they're both extremely low. This should be a pretty easy cleanup for Fugly, and it is, even inside the flames, and he keeps the double op setup alive.
Yeah, and NRG actually leaned over a lot towards A. They had 1 forklift, Legia opping quad, Fugly default, and Pete was Z with a quick rotate to White Truck. So they had a great read there. Helped them because they actually needed everybody there to hold the site, or else that could have gone pretty bad pretty quick.
Well, I mean, you've been talking a lot about tells. I know the 2 of the rounds they've hit A has been when Stewie is pretty much aggressive all on his own, doing that 4-1, and he's out mid. So maybe that's Legia spotting that out and getting that kill. And he's saying last time that we saw Stewie really come out mid, they were more focused towards the A bomb site. So perhaps a little bit of reading going on, but they finally, I mean, even that eco round where they got 3 kills, now you can see the damage in that. There's no rifles on the board for Cloud9 in this round. They're back forced onto a just a pistol blind. Still intimidating. It is 4 Tech 9s. Plenty of smokes, and here's that door aggression you mentioned earlier. Fugly is going to get the opening kill. In the A main, the counter nades as well have slowed this down, so a very disjointed hit, and it's basically just one side. There's not really a pincher to it, but Tech 9 coming through Stewie. Tabson wasn't blind, but the plant is going to make Cloud9 at least happy.
Yeah, but that was a pretty poor execute. Although they do get it down to a 2v3. Bomb's planted in for a highway actually, but they have nobody flanking or lurking. Let's see if God B throws that molly towards a forklift this round though. Doesn't make that same mistake. Looks like he will.
Well, this is doable because there's 2 ops, although that Molotov that forces him out is what might seal the deal. Automatic though, he might be able, if he can get this M4, actually, if he can just spam through the smoke, no one's really close by, and he's got 1. Now this is going to be so tough, he might just win this. This is entirely doable for Automatic. He's inside the smoke. They haven't found him quite yet, and he is going to win it. They're lined up for him. The Tech 9 goes to work, and somehow it's a miracle. Automatic with 4 kills in the round, and NRG is going to be kicking themselves watching this replay.
Yeah, something that should never happen there. You should never smoke out the bomb in that situation because all it's doing is hurting you.
Yep.
Right there, and they essentially handed that opportunity for Tim to win that round, but his great individual, skill was the one that won it in the end. But they gave him that opportunity.
Well, that smoke prevents anyone from trading him off after he gets that kill. So, yeah, backfires a little bit on the NRG side, but actually insane considering the advantages they had in that round. And I think it was even a 5-on-3 at one point. So, I mean, what a win from Automatic. More door aggression. That's 2 rounds in a row they've been successful, and aggression all over the map as Legia pushes in mid and dinks down Stewie. So a scary situation for Cloud9 to be in here.
Yeah, Fugly getting aggressive door once again. He completely, stopped that push over towards A that round before, made it 3v5 or 4v5, and then they got another kill. That was a 3v5 that they won that last round, and that's one you can't give up those rounds when you're playing against a team that is probably better than you. When you lose those type of rounds, it hurts a lot. Fugly just trying to take the rounds into his own hands, gets another kill, and spots 2 other players. So huge job by him. He might have even dinked Stewie.
Yeah, I mean, it may seem a little bit crazy for an individual play like that, but the information gathering was really the goal. So the fact that he gets a kill and is able to spot out everyone else, that's information his team can use to win this round. They're going to be split 2-2. So, I mean, yeah, Stewie is the tough part. Is Stewie at 8 HP is essentially just he's got to play this so smart, and actually it looks like he's going to be the one to lead the way. Easy kill, try and bait out the position of your opponent. Legia is going to drop out of vents, so this flank is going to be so deadly, or it's not. But God B inside the site will be a triple kill for him. Nice hold, 3rd round for NRG on the board.
Yeah, that was a great job by God B there. He actually had full utility at the end of that round, but he spotted, reacted, gave his team, even if he was only able to get 1 or 2 there, he would have given his team enough time to, rotate properly and probably trade off his death. But the interesting thing to me was Stewie was entering there in a 3v4 with 10 health, and I think it's a lot better there if Stewie instead lets one of his teammates entry to get that one-on-one battle, and then maybe he just watches the vents really early because that's something you can get a kill on with like 10 HP.
Yeah, I mean, that's why the only idea that I can think of is why that is just because he's saying, I'll just go die, so you know exactly where they're at. But either way.
That's fine if you have the advantage, but I think when you're at a disadvantage, you need the other player to get that kill, and then, that way he's still, can do something with 10 health. Like, you could watch the flank. It's pretty easy to watch vents with 10 health. You can get, like, run underneath it or whatever.
Well, this is an anti-eco round. No real investment for Cloud9. A couple P250s, but no utility whatsoever, which is allowing NRG to kind of rack up some kills. Peter from range with that AWP, and Tapson has a 4-kill inside the site. So good hold from him as NRG tries to make this comeback happen. We've seen this this map has really fluctuated recently, or I'd say for the majority of this year, because I feel like it fell out of favor at the beginning of 2016. And at MLG Columbus is when we really started to see it come back, and it seemed very like T-sided. It felt like teams kind of forgot how to play the CT side of things. So I feel like it's been going back and forth, and who's having the advantage in terms of offense or defense.
Yeah, I do think the extra round time just helps the T so much, man. It's so much more difficult to get smoke timings off on these maps, and it opens everything up. So I think that was huge, and teams are really learning how to play from that. Cloud9 back onto Tech9's, though. Not a full investment, though. They're still going to be able to buy the next round, even if they lose this one.
Well,
And
this is
Peter getting aggressive towards B, gets an early kill, and NRG's been doing a really good job of, you know, we saw it with Fugly, now we're seeing it with Pete, we saw it with Legia one round as well, with making it 45.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've also, one of the big keys is not just, you know, those opening picks, but the fact that they're getting aggressive. They're going out and searching for them. The first part of this half was really Cloud9 exerting their will wherever they wanted to, and it seems like NRG kind of got that feeling as well, because they're starting to try and take control of it. They're the ones being the aggressors and picking where the first fight is going to be. And God B, it's the second time we've seen that smoke in that attempt at a play, and now he's going to swing out. Only gets one, but there's so little HP in this Cloud9 side. Again, another plant, though. So the bonus money will be helpful. It is a 3-on-4, but surely NRG can't drop the ball here. And they're just going to push right forward towards CT spawn. They know they're at a disadvantage, so they wanted to see if they could catch him off guard. It's not going to happen. So 5-8 now for NRG, and Cloud9 this next one, that's going to be the buy, and it's what, 5 of the last 6 rounds going towards NRG. So good adjustment after losing so many.
Absolutely, adapting really well. They're taking that, like those early battles as we talked about earlier, and on the scoreboard 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So none of them really slacking here or anything. Their kills are actually super close with Cloud9 because Cloud9 won a couple of those close rounds, and NRG, you know, they could definitely end this half 7-8.
Well, we'll see. I mean, Cloud9, we'll see what they bring to the table this time. If they have any adjustment. Skidoodle does have the AWP, and I think the big thing is he's way back on T-spawn. Because of this aggression that's been coming out, he's just playing in a very safe spot just to watch for any more of those pushes. This time, though, wisely, NRG, they just pushed B in the last round. They're not going to do it twice in a row.
Well, Fugly actually tried to push A main there. He actually got blinded by his teammate's flash, quickly booked it out of there. But he's a wild man right now, man.
Yeah, I mean, maybe just getting beat up for the first 7 rounds of this half or so is just puts him in that mood.
Yeah, nice adjustment with Cloud9 though. As you see, they're taking mid control. Pretty low mid, you know, setup. You know, not that much aggression. Just lay gate highway, got me in the vents. They try to flash above the vents for him, but Cloud9 was so ready for that. Gets that easy kill right there.
Oh, and like he's actually forced forward by that Molotov. That's a nice play from Automatic, although he gets a little bit bailed out by the timing of Legia falling off that box because he couldn't run back into the fire. So forced into the open, and on top of that, Skidoodle does find a pick. I believe that's over towards the B-bomb site because Skidoodle is still so very far
moved
back.
about 5 steps to his left and was able to punish Pete for that push of B.
Well, NRG's just getting punished across the map at the moment. Sick round from Cloud9. They only take 3 damage total, Automatic at 97. So pretty clean, and that's 9-5 now. And the buy out of NRG, I think, is going to be a little bit. I mean, it's not bad. It's just we have a FAMAS on God B. We have a little bit of light utility on someone like Tabson. I think even Legia, unless someone dropped him that I didn't see, is just going to be on a pistol. So he might have been one of the players to drop an M4 over.
Yeah, Cloud9 making this half pretty quick though, huh? It's gone by pretty fast.
It really has. It has not been very tactical out of them. I mean, they did start off by running all those 4-1s, and they were very quick. It was like no map control. It was like, let's just hit A.
Yeah, everything has been pretty quick. Jordan getting spotted at the door there. I think it's usually Shroud there, but Pete dodges the flash, gets that kill, smokes up A main, and now they have complete control of this round as Cloud9 goes into another 4-1.
That's a really nice peek from Peter because he can't hold an angle whatsoever. He has to be turned around for that flashbang and then spin it in. Ooh, that's a good spray. Automatic just senses Legia coming up. I don't know if he like ran into him, but just holds it down, and Legia hiding in that smoke gets butchered.
Yeah, no sense in getting that aggressive there.
With an advantage.
Yeah, definitely not. Something that JW does sometimes when he opens that door, he bunny hops behind the blue door to get position as the A site take is on the way. Pete playing behind the smoke at fence, gets spammed by Shroud. He knew exactly where he was.
Yeah, Shroud spotted the gun barrel sticking right through the smoke, so a pretty easy kill for him as he turns that corner. I mean, a sick round from Automatic. After that first spray down in the smoke, he gets 3 more kills, so he got 4 in the round. That's pretty sick.
And that mid-round aggression, you know, it seemed like the very early aggression was working well, but that mid-round aggression, they were getting punished.
I mean, sick adjustments by both teams. NRG makes a bid for it in the second portion of that half. We'll see if they can complete the comeback. They're going to be on T side when we return, so stay tuned.
He's going to get the one kill in that bomb. Coming onto the side. FNX has to stay up. Oh, he gets the triple FNX. Oh my god, what a way to win that round. They don't have a smoke, so this Orb is still. Oh, look at that.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Soylent, Xfinity, Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, The Score Esports, Mountain Dew, and ESEA.
Welcome back to ESL Pro League. This is NRG versus Cloud9. We're on Cash, and Cloud9 stormed out to a 7-0 lead on the Terra side, and they finished things up thanks to a good adjustment by NRG. But they finished with a 10-5 lead in the favor of Cloud9, who switches over to the defense now. NRG, we were just talking in the halftime by ourselves that this next half we're going to see out of NRG is very much saying, Peter, what can you make for us? What can you create?
Yeah, NRG will probably play a lot slower. Seems like most of the teams have been casting lately. Renegades, Echo Fox, now Cloud9 on Cash. Been doing a lot of 4-1s early. Not afraid to go through the A smokes. Not afraid to go through the B smokes. Not afraid to do a fast middle or anything like that.
So dangerous with just like one lucky flashbang can just ruin that defense.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you don't play it perfectly on the CT side, a lot of time you will lose a round. But you can play it really well to a point where you can win around really cleanly doing that.
Right.
So
look at this half out of automatic.
Both ways.
Look at this half out automatic. 16-9 was his score at the end of that. I mean, that last round he did get 4, so I mean, he was pretty close in terms of until that last round. He was at 12, obviously, but just a big half for a guy that we talked about. Was not someone that you expected to be kind of the star player in Cloud9. You just felt like he was like a missing piece of the puzzle. But really, as an individual, he seems to have grown within this lineup, which is pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. He's really just showing what he could do with a good team around him. You know, he hasn't been with players of this caliber before, as tabseN lurks all the way out towards Highway without even being seen.
Well, here's this Highway smoke. I think you touched on it from T-Spawn, I'm assuming, because Gabi is missing a smoke, and he was all the way back towards T-Spawn. So, yeah, it just lands right there. So it's a pretty sick smoke. And now, I mean, this execution is a little bit delayed because they have to allow time for Gabi to actually catch up. The question is, are they going to be hitting it fast enough to actually utilize that smoke that he throws? Because it's going to dissipate pretty soon, and they still haven't hit this site. Probably trying to make Cloud9 feel really uncomfortable with the sense that they thought the hit would already be coming in now. Now they stream outdoor. Nothing's got to kill over towards B. There's Stewie with 2. Great movement, great mobility, clearing both sides, and now he's just going to push forward. Find Godby as well. Stewie's incredible right now, and he's just going to stomp them all out. What a pistol round from Stewie.
Yeah, him at that quad box. Perfect angles for him, right? We saw him at the fork. It's kind of similar.
Yeah.
And just absolute perfect beats.
Yeah, I mean, just the way he uses this box and the movement to make sure every single fight he takes is a one-on-one. Knowing to get aggressive here because he could be getting wrapped upon, and then just the precision, obviously. But what a pistol round from him.
Yeah, that was a great job by him, putting Cloud9 firmly in the lead here. They seem to like the umps, man. I like the MP9.
Yeah, they are feeling the umps right now.
I like the MP9 more, man.
A little bit more, a little bit faster rate of fire, a little bit more movement to it.
I mean, have you seen Fur? Pretty sure his MP9 is as good as most AKers. Like,
I think he uses the bulldozer skin as well, which is like a pretty apt name, I feel.
That's awesome. I didn't even know that skin existed. Coming from me, that's...
Yeah, that's surprising. Figured you would have had a couple of those stashed away. Skadoodle, he eats a bullet with the, from the deagle of tabseN. So that's going to be an opening pick. And when you see this kind of a deagle, that's a nice find because there's not a lot of utility on the energy side. And actually, Peter might have this timing down. This is going to be very dangerous for Automatic. And Peter misses the shot, so Automatic's able to turn around and punish him. You have to land those. But without the utility, it is a large reliance on these deagles to get those picks because there are no smokes. You can't really execute anything. You need the deagles to find you one of those fortunate headshots just to thin out the defense.
Absolutely. And what happens a lot of the time is sometimes you get that first initial kill with the deagle like we just saw, but because you don't have much utility, you don't have head armor, and obviously deagle's not great at taking sights, that even when you make it 4v5, you're still really reliant on them giving you more kills. Right? Because if you push towards a site there, and as soon as you round that corner, if they're sitting there and not peeking you and making you have movement before you see them, it's still very CT-sided.
Yeah.
So the round's not over just because you got that initial kill by any means.
Yeah, and we could see that they couldn't really get anything after that, and it almost maybe because, I mean, NRG tried to almost take over that bomb site. They had 3 deagles, and like you said, very rough to take sites with the deagle. I mean, if Peter gets that kill in automatic, to be fair, he found the timing. He played that perfectly up until he missed the kill. If he gets that kill in automatic, that might be a lost A bomb site, because then it was essentially going to be like a 4 or 5 on 1.
It still definitely does take like good coordination though, even if you just get that deagle kill, just because you know, like if you have a deagle, you make it 4v5 and you like burst out through the door or something like that with a flashbang and tech 9s, like you're super advantaged. But you know, with their buy, it's not as much. Stewie gets dinked by a Glock.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see how he decides to play it.
They just want to feed him that FPR,
right? Maybe they didn't like that pistol round out of him, and somehow he's still alive again. And if he lives throughout this whole round, that's got to be disheartening if you are NRG. Stewie's just unkillable at the moment.
Yeah, 20 and 11. We were just talking about Tim, but Stewie on that
Stewie's
pistol round. Now on this round, just all the way, just 20 and 11.
It is so crazy to think that this year for Stewie, I don't know if I've ever seen one player climb from not being in a competitive team ever, from no competitive experience, to the level that he's gotten at this quickly.
Yeah, and you could thank Ocean for that.
It's the Ocean and A2Z classes.
Yep. Ocean found him. Ocean taught him everything he knows. So NRG, as we said, complete change of pace from what we were used to seeing with Cloud9. Slow default, methodical, just waiting, and then probably going to you know, do some type of execute together.
Better work. They don't have a lot of time to get rolling on this T side, and on top of things, there's still 3 SMGs on the Cloud9 side. So if they win this round and they get that bonus money from those kills and they get free upgrades to AK-47s and AWPs, that's when the economy for the CT side will just balloon, and you'd have to win so many consecutive to reset the economy to even be able to get back into it if you're NRG. So this is actually a very important round. Stewie's alone in the bomb site. He does have Skadoodle rotating over. It's just for the FAMAS, but Stewie at an off angle as they come through the smoke. Gets 1, holds down the trigger, gets a 2nd. He's going to go hunt for more, and he finds Gabi. That flashbang blinds him, but the damage is done. He's gotten 3, but there's Peter with the AWP. This is the one gun that can bring them back into this round. Automatic is on a flank, though, and it's 3 UMPs. So actually, NRG's not in as bad as a spot as it might look.
Yeah, he's at the forklift, probably the best spot to retake from. But
not so much. Not so much anymore when automatic just comes out. And this is that kind of nightmare. I mean, he gets 2 kills. The bonus money isn't that great, but
he was too busy pumping himself up to realize the flank was coming.
It's like, yo, let's squash the beef, bro. They don't think we can win this round.
They don't think I can win it. Do they know who I am?
Underdogs
Do they know
in the
where
match.
I am?
Underdog in the round. Let's go.
Then Tim comes in. You probably heard him on the mic. Comes in, flanks him and gets an easy kill.
Oh, not bad, but yeah, that flank comes in huge. So now the AK-47s, they have basically two players get free guns, AWP for free as well, which is huge. And NRG is at that point where they know they just can't afford to give up many rounds. I mean, they can't. They want to. At this point, you play for the win. I mean, you have this many rounds to catch up on.
Last round though is like Stewie was trying to take a gamble over at like middle and B. He was pretty much on an island at A. Still. They come A and he still kills 3 people. Yeah,
I mean he had a nice off angle, so I mean that first kill you imagine would be his like 9 out of 10 times. It's the follow-ups that were so good. Automatic is going to be in vents. He'll be able to drop out, but the smoke is actually helping Cloud9. Although Skadoodle does fall, there's Shroud in the site, and actually I mean there's 3 players from Cloud9 here already, so nothing coming through. He's going to find 1. And Gabi, he's going to get a nice kill, but he's the last one left, although he does have 2. He's down to 17 HP. Still can't salvage a rifle, and I think this angle from automatic, he's not going to be expecting this whatsoever in the pit by the site, so this might just end up being an easy kill. The question is, can Gabi get the bomb planted, and he cannot.
No, good job by him to get those 2 kills, but we saw that Shroud stay alive there and be like forever playing around those smokes. Really important if you have a guy in sight. If you have a guy in sight at A or B on cache, and the execute is coming and fighting is going on, it makes it so easy to rotate into. Like, it makes it really easy to go out heaven, to go through vents, because so many people on T-side are just going to be focused on that site. It opens up everything. So delaying and staying alive there by Shroud, really good job by him. Not so much Skadoodle as he jumped into the mini pit with a 5-7.
He did seem to be stuck out in the open with like an AWP, and he had to pull his pistol out. Just just an awkward situation, but it does come down again to that kind of concept of mid-control for the counter terrorists on this map. That's some good spam damage.
The information Stewie's getting right now, he's peeking A main, jumping in and out. This information is huge right now.
And he hears one over at door as well. But, yeah, I mean, that mid-control, that importance of mid-control.
Jordan, no!
Did he just burn?
Oh, my goodness.
Was he at sandbags? Is that where
he was at sandbags. He had a smoke out. He tried to toss on the Molotov, whiffed. The smoke went into Z, and he burned alive.
Did they changed like the mechanics of how smokes extinguish Molotovs now, didn't they? Wasn't that an update recently, I think?
Yeah, it's not supposed to do it if they're like too far below it and whatnot.
Interesting.
But this information at A that Stewie has, though, he's probably going to call for like a full B stack here.
Yeah, Shroud's rotating off right now. And automatic, he could, he's going to spot 2. Peter's not even paying attention to vents, though. The shots were out. Tapson's going to fall as well. The bomb is still outside B, so there's a chance to relocate from the terrorist side of things, but Legia is coming to support, and that's a beautiful pop flash. Automatic pushes forward. He wants to take this fight. He loses it. But meanwhile, Gabi's teammate has fallen, so to save NRG, at least for this round, in this map, I mean, Gabi has to win this 1-on-2. There's 1 in vents, 1 in the B bomb site, 20 seconds left, so he can't afford to go back towards A. He's just got to straight up win, and it's not going to happen. Shroud shuts him down. Big win for Cloud9 on map 1.
Complete domination.
Yes.
Out of Cloud9.
I mean, there was really just that one sketchy area in the first half where there was the adjustments by NRG when they got a little bit more aggressive on the extremities, but dominant overall, 16-5.
Yeah.
Why not?
Great job by Cloud9. We saw one round that was interesting to see was that round with NRG, right? It was 4v5, and when it was 4v5 on Cloud9 side, the players on NRG, when they were on CT side, tried to get aggressive. Immediately, Cloud9 stomped on it, right?
Yeah.
Peter pushed B, Scott killed him. Another person pushed somewhere else. They got the kill. They won. NRG just made it easy on Cloud9. There, Cloud9 was in a 4v5. Stewie had complete information at A. Knew they weren't coming A. B stack.
Works out for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Strong information plays. Really good match overall from Cloud9, and we are going to send it over to T-Squared. I know he had a good time watching that match.
I did, but the question, did we squash the beef yet? I just want to make sure that it's been squashed. But overall, C9, they're moving to 18-1, and NRG, they're going to go to 11-6. Stewie and Automatic, just so strong. But one of the things that we didn't see was the utility coming out from NRG that we were talking about beforehand. So I'm going to throw this on over to Ryu at the Telestrator. And Ryu, what's up with the smokes? How come we didn't see him?
Yeah, so Dave's mentioned there's actually 3 different smokes that NRG can throw. I think Gabi and Legia throw them from T-spawn. We didn't get a chance to see them, but I wanted to show you where they land and how they use them because it's an interesting thing that they set up on their T side. So as we take a look at the map here, the one that we saw them throw on pistol round actually lands behind forklift. It's kind of the common smoke you see a lot of teams throw when they do the classic blue door strat where they flash into the site and they pile out of the door. That's one smoke that they throw, and the way that they use that, they actually do. Let's see if I can get. I haven't been a weatherman in a while. So when this area is blocked off by the smoke, they basically force the CT into this area of the site, and then sometimes they'll actually just position Peter with basically a field of vision in that general direction. That's one of the ways they use that smoke. The other smokes that they throw pretty regularly is the top highway smoke, which I think is the one that Daze was referencing. This one is great because you'll see a lot of teams, they'll actually just kind of work a T up either behind it, or what actually we've seen in recent matches, they'll get a T into a Z, who can then flank in either direction. So he can sit here and pick off anybody coming from this area of the map or anybody that goes to the truck. He can go towards A for like an A split or B towards a B split. And then the other smoke they sometimes throw from spawn is the one that lands here. Now, I will say this, and hopefully they don't get mad. If you see them throw this smoke several rounds in a row, they do it to set up a strat where they actually take Tapson through the door, and he just kind of lurks his way, kind of like a smoke wall or smoke tunnel through that smoke, and then he comes around and it'll kill the player at quad. Usually opens up the site. But there was a lot of conversation about tells and doing things to kind of mask what your strategy is, what your setup is. Those are 3 smokes that, if just going back to watching our team scrim them, they'll throw those smokes almost every T round. They didn't really have, one T round, I think. That was like a full gun round with full utility. So we didn't get to see them kind of like set that up. But they'll do the same thing over and over. And it looks the same and it feels the same. And then one round, there's a guy who's at forklift, or there's a Tapson lurking through the smoke from the door. Didn't get a chance to see it. And Cloud9 kind of cruised in that.
Yeah, and it was because Stewie just doing Stewie things. arguably one of the best players so far in North America, and double positive, 24 and 12. We were talking about it. He's aggressive. You got to expect that coming out from NRG. Why weren't they able to counter it? Whereas it because maybe Peter and Tabson didn't necessarily have the type of performances we're used to seeing them have recently?
Yeah, I definitely think Tabson got off to a slow start. When NRG started to figure things out a little bit on their CT side, they started to kill Stewie first. There was the one round they killed him, and they recognized like it's probably going towards A. Last time he just sprinted out middle and took a fight. That's kind of what they did. So it seemed like they made some adjustments there. It's just they got a little bit of a late start, and then they lost that one eco round where Automatic was just lurking around the smoke, killed the diffuser, then continued to lurk around the smoke, and then killed the last two. That's a round like you cannot lose against a team like Cloud9. And then losing that second half pistol story with a beautiful 4K in the sight. Just really, they didn't give themselves enough real estate to have a chance on their T side because of a few mistakes on their CT side and a little bit of a slow start.
Well, we'll find out if NRG can bounce back against C9 on train. But guys, I want to give a shout out to thescoreesports.com. If you're a stat like myself, make sure you download the app on your Android or iOS device. Go to the Google Play App Store and check it out because it is the best place for those things. And don't go anywhere. We're going to have the second map going on between these two teams right after the break.